710 ESPN. This is Lakers Talk with Alan Sliwa.
Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good!
Anthony Davis, he's not just the present. Anthony Davis is also the future of the Los Angeles Lakers. I can't wait to see AD in the playoffs.
Bryant, to shot!
Your city, your station, your Lakers. 710 ESPN.
This is not just LA, but it's a brand like the Los Angeles Lakers. Everybody is going to be watching every step and move Anthony Davis makes. So it's big time.
Look to the rim, another one! Two tomahawk dunks!
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, what's going on, Laker fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Another edition of Lakers Talk tonight. This is the second edition of Lakers Talk. We do 6:30 to 9 on 710 ESPN, and then we jump up with our social media people. That's what we do. Laker fans, we are here. All right, let me give everybody just a quick rundown what we're doing on tonight's show. We're going to talk about the schedule coming up because Lakers scrimmage starts this Thursday. We're going to talk about actually going back into the studio, which I'll be in the studio this Saturday to do the first show. I haven't been there in over 130 days. That's how long it's been. We'll talk about the NBA goes 346 out of 346. Nobody tests positive. So obviously a great sign for the NBA on that front. And then we'll also get into I thought something that was really unique. I got a chance, this morning, we're doing these Zoom calls every morning. We're getting a chance to hear from all the different players, the coach, head coach Frank Vogel. Today, LeBron James talked, and he said something about Kobe. This was a question from head coach Frank Vogel. From Bill Oram from The Athletic, and I want to get into that as well. So let's start with this, okay? I have absolutely no idea what to expect over these next couple of months. I really don't. I have no idea. But this is what I can tell you. The first scrimmage for the Los Angeles Lakers is coming up this Thursday versus the Dallas Mavericks at 4 o'clock. Let me repeat all that. Let me just kind of stop for a quick second. We haven't had basketball in 132 days. If you guys remember, March 10th, that's when the Lakers lost to Brooklyn, that game 104-102 against the Nets. The very next day was the day the Jazz versus Thunder game was postponed. And then, obviously Gobert tested positive. So since that moment, we haven't any basketball. And there's been things, don't get me wrong, that have progressed over that time. Eventually, 22-team structure was, built for Orlando. They obviously have this bubble. But we actually get to watch Los Angeles Lakers basketball coming up this Thursday. Saturday is another exhibition game. They play Orlando. So why am I excited about Saturday? Why am I excited about an exhibition game versus the Orlando Magic? I don't know. But one of the reasons why I'm excited about is I get to go back in studio. So John Ireland and Michael Thompson will call the game. I do my first quarter hit, halftime, third quarter hit, and then I'll do just kind of a shorter version post-game show. But you bet I'm going to do one of these post-game shows after. But it'll be the first time I've been in the studio, and really all the guys have been there, at least from a host perspective, in an incredibly long time. And just to kind of have that feeling, just to kind of think, and I know a lot of Laker fans feel the same way, we're going to actually have basketball back. That the Lakers will get this opportunity to try and win number 17. And, I know none of us know what tomorrow's going to hold or down the road a month from now or 2 months from now, but you have to be excited if you're a sports fan and all of a sudden you're starting to see baseball games. Dodgers just had one of their games, one of their scrimmages, or you can call it a scrimmage, whatever you want to call it, against the Arizona Diamondbacks. MLS got all these games going. But the reality is, what makes everything so exciting, and I know for a lot of us here, is NBA basketball. So this is where we are. So what am I expecting over the next couple of months? I have zero idea what the TV experience is going to be like, what to really expect on the court. But the one thing I will say, Lakers seem like they're in a very, very good spot. What I mean by that, all the conversations that you hear from the players, the coaches, these guys seem not just incredibly focused. Of course, they're going to be focused, but I heard JaVale McGee say earlier today, he's talking about how there's no distractions in the bubble, so that's a great thing. Coach said that as well. So it seems like a lot of these players are on the same page walking into this thing. So that part obviously is eventually or incredibly exciting. Okay, so this is what I want to do. I'm going to spend a little time on doing this. Are you guys paying that much attention to some of these individual awards? All these individual awards going on right now. Are you guys paying a lot of attention to them or not really? And this is why I'm asking the question. Sham Charania put out a tweet from The Athletic. He reported it on last Friday. And Shams basically said that whatever you accomplish during the regular season, that's it. Like there's nothing, whatever happens over these final 8 games, they're not going to come into play. And I was looking on ESPN earlier today. What am I missing here? Somebody help me out on this one. Lakers got a lot of candidates, you could say, for individual awards. Don't get me wrong. I know Laker fans, we're not too worried about individual awards. The only award that really matters is championship number 17. That's it. Nothing else, nothing else matters after that. But I do want to point this part out. So I guess where I'm getting a little confused on, these are, by the way, some of the awards that the Lakers could virtually be a part of. Coach of the Year, damn right. Frank Vogel could 100% be Coach of the Year this year. Executive of the Year, Rob Pelinka. Think about how much heat Rob Pelinka was getting in the summer before the season started and where the Lakers sit today. And it's not just, trading for Anthony Davis. There's also other signings that were important. The Dwight Howard signing, the Danny Green signing. KCP's been a nice addition for the Lakers. I know he's been here for a couple of years, but continues to be. So Lakers kind of structured this roster together. Got to give a lot of credit to Rob Pelinka. Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. There's 4 awards that Lakers could potentially be a part of from individual awards. So this is where I'm asking for Laker fans' help, okay? If you go on ESPN.com, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, small website. It's a startup. It may make it, it may not. Nobody knows. But if you go on ESPN.com, they put up this kind of a lot of these, experts who a lot of them I know, and they're fantastic when it comes to the NBA. But they pick Rookie of the Year, MVP, Most Improved Player. They do all that stuff. I don't care all that much about the individual awards unless I feel like somebody's not getting their justice, right? Like somebody's not getting their due respect. So 20 people voted on Defensive Player of the Year. 20 of the reporters reported on Defensive Player of the Year. Guess how many Giannis got to Anthony Davis? I'll tell you, Bam Adebayo got 2 votes. And I'll tell you that Bam Adebayo, who's the other player? Rudy Gobert got 2 votes. So that means there's 16 votes left. How many do you think went to Giannis Antetokounmpo? How many do you think went to Anthony Davis? And what I'm talking about is Defensive Player of the Year. Okay? 10-6, Giannis. Somebody help me out here. Help me out here, my people. My people, help me out. What am I missing here to where Giannis Antetokounmpo is leading Anthony Davis on the defensive side? Okay, you know what? Let's look at MVP for a quick second. 20 votes for MVP. 20 votes for MVP. How many of those do you think LeBron got? How many of those do you think Giannis got? All right. So out of 20 possible votes between LeBron and Giannis got 17 of the 20 votes. What am I missing here? Did I do something wrong? Am I not watching the same NBA basketball that everybody else is? And maybe because I don't watch Giannis on a night in, night out basis, but it sounds incredibly, incredibly one-sided. You know what I mean? And listen, I know LeBron James, I know what he's accomplished this year. In my opinion, one of the things I love about what LeBron does, I love how he just controls the entire game, right? Just completely controls the entire game. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Giannis, but 17-3 Giannis, Lakers wisdom says it's all your fault, Sliwa. You might be right. Maybe it is my fault. I don't have a vote. Okay? I don't have a vote. But when I was reading that today, go on ESPN.com, go look at it. You'll see exactly who voted for who and everything else. But that's something on these individual awards. I know, and I'll say this again. At the end of the day, all we care about is, are the Lakers going to win an NBA championship? And as the great Michael Thompson always says, there's only one award that really matters at the end of the season. It's the Finals MVP, not the regular season MVP. But that's where we sit on these individual awards. Okay. Did you guys hear? And Carlo, who's in the background here, did you guys hear LeBron James talk about Kobe Bryant earlier today on his Zoom call? So I want to spend a little time on this. So I'll try and time this right here. We have the audio from LeBron James talking about Kobe Bryant, and we will play that right now.
A day doesn't go by where I don't think about him, and a day doesn't go by where our organization does not remember him, and think about not only Cole but Gigi, and Vanessa and other girls. They are a part of this family, just as big as anybody in this organization history. So we still wear 2, 4, and 8, and the number 2 with pride and with remembrance of how great they were. I mean, you see it, throughout the day from, guys on our team that wear his shoes and things of that nature. So,
LeBron James right there. It was a question that came from Bill Orm from The Athletic. And look, we're coming up on 6 months of the passing of Kobe Bryant. Obviously, of Gigi Bryant, his daughter, 7 others that passed away in that helicopter crash. And it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy to even think that it's been, first of all, it's been that long, because it seems like it was just yesterday. But go look on my Twitter too, because I think this is one of those things I'd love for you guys to see. We had asked LeBron James before the season started, some of his favorite Laker moments, and he goes into all these details talking about Kobe Bryant and talking specifically about, obviously how when he was in high school, that was his player. He loved watching him play. He goes through the details of the Kobe Bryant crossover on Scottie, lob to Shaq for the Lakers' first NBA championship after they beat Portland, and then eventually went to go win in the finals. Talks about the tip out Robert Horry 3. I say all that because I put out a tweet earlier today, and I spent a lot of time on this on my show tonight on 710 ESPN. I spent a lot of time talking about your favorite Kobe memories, and I'll read off some of these tweets. And by the way, those that are chatting in, a couple of people want some fist pumps. There's some fist pumps right there. But this is the one thing that I'll let you guys chime in on. I got no problem talking about all these memories that you have. List out some of your favorite Kobe memories. And I think this is something where we never need an excuse to do this. Here's a player that played for the Lakers for 20 years. He was a family man. He obviously had incredible future ahead of him, as did his daughter, as did the 7 others that passed away. So I never want to try to make an excuse to talk about Kobe and some of our best memories with Kobe. So I'm going to list off a couple of mine, and then you guys can go as well. I don't know what it was for me, but I always loved the Kobe Shaq days. For some reason, those are my favorite moments. Even when Kobe was failing as much as he was, missing shots at a young age, but I don't know, there's something about young Kobe. Like, it was his arrogance at such a young age to think, I can make it happen. I know Shaq's the most dominating player, but you guys need me just as much as you need him. It was games where Shaq would foul out and Kobe would jump in and pretty much tell everybody, relax, calm down, I got it from here. It was the buzzer beaters against the Portland Trailblazers, against Ruben Patterson and the Kobe stopper. It was just these random highlights in his career. But for me, it was always the Kobe Shaq days. Those are always the ones that I think stand out to me. By the time he started winning championships and going on his own, I already had like such a deep respect for him and appreciation for what he was doing. I actually appreciate him further in his career. When you look back, you appreciate things more when they're gone. But those are a couple of memories that stand out to me right off the bat. Stand out to me. Okay, let me read off a couple of these real quick. Game Flow Sports, title number 5. How about that iconic moment, title number 5? Somebody has sent me a GIF on Twitter, and GIF. I don't know. I think it's that, but he sends me the one. Kobe basically on the scores table, looking out into the fans. He's got his hands out like this. He's palming the ball in 1. He's putting up number 5. Iconic shot. Aniket Mohan says, Kobe's most iconic moment for me will always be the celebration after the chip in 2010. He felt so much satisfaction in beating the Celtics, and the fans can relate to it. By the way, that moment too, over the Celtics, that championship number 5 meant so much to Kobe and Laker fans. It was not only number 5, not only did he just win an NBA championship, he beat the Boston Celtics. He had already lost to the Celtics a couple years prior. He passed Shaq in individual championships. I mean, everything that you could possibly think of was all right there. Game Flow Sports goes back. That smile when he chased that ball down in Game 7 against the Celtics. We'll never forget that. Okay, let me see. Ladarius Patterson, last game for me. Someone actually put out a tweet earlier about the last game that what was most impressive about anything Kobe did in that final game was just the mere fact that Kobe, those last couple of minutes, that kind of described Kobe in a nutshell, how he laid and gave everything on his final game to get to 60. That kind of is that's a perfect way to summarize Kobe's career. That's exactly what Kobe's career was. Whatever it took on the court, he was going to accomplish, and he's going to have no problem trying to do it. And if it meant he was going to fail, he was going to fail. But you never had to question Kobe. Okay. There's one on here that somebody has that arguably is one of my favorite Kobe moments as well. So, by the way, we're talking Kobe. LeBron hit on it earlier today. Just talked about how there's not a day that goes by to LeBron thinking of Kobe and, obviously his daughter and everybody else. And that conversation came up. It was a question from Bill Orm of The Athletic, because we're about to come up on the 6-month anniversary, if you want to call it that, of the passing of Kobe Bryant. So this is the one I'm with, actually, somebody here that I want to highlight real quick. So James Datu says the Achilles, his recovery from the Achilles. So let me actually talk about that game real quick, because that game could be one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in sports. And what I'm referring to is the fact that LeBron or Kobe, in that moment, in that situation, pulls or tears his Achilles, gets up, walks over to the bench, walks over to the free throw line, shoots 2 free throws, hits both free throws. Lakers need to win that game to just make the playoffs. Walks all the way out to the side or to the back to the locker rooms, and never complains, never winces, never says, "Can I get somebody to help me," or a wheelchair or something like that. It was just Kobe being Kobe. And that moment, I mean, as sad as it was to see Kobe rupture his Achilles, it was like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, how does another individual, how's he able to endure this? Go take the 2 free throws. So that's definitely one of the highlights that I would agree with. Certainly one of the ones that just ridiculous. You want to send me more of your memories. You could do it here on the, you could feel free to do it on the page here, but you could also hit me on Twitter at Alan Sliwa. There's a bunch of tweets on there. and everybody's got their own stories. People are throwing in Paul Pierce here. Maybe I was making a wheelchair reference to Paul Pierce. Maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm neither here to confirm or deny that. Either way. Okay, let's do some roll call here. We got about 5 more minutes. Kamenetsky brothers come up at 10 o'clock, and they do their happy hour. Roll call. Where are we tuning in from? Hit me with where we're tuning in from. Laker fans, you know we're most likely going to actually have post-game shows again. Actual post-game shows. We actually have basketball that we could talk about. Temecula, appreciate you tuning in. New Orleans, this is what I love about this. Singapore, thank you for tuning in. I'm such a big fan of, I know there's Laker fans through and through in LA, but it's so cool to also see all the different people that are tuning in from everywhere. And you're on YouTube or Periscope or, obviously on Twitter, ESPN Los Angeles, all that stuff. So we appreciate you tuning in. But let me read off where roll call is. Singapore, Thousand Oaks, thank you for tuning in. East Los Angeles, thank you for tuning in. Arkansas, somebody's at King Taco. Appreciate that. Carne asada taco sounds pretty damn good right now. Orange County, thank you for tuning in. San Diego, Philippines, Carson, Maryland, Tampa, New Jersey. King Taco Tuesday. I don't even understand it. Lake Elsinore in the house. I appreciate you guys tuning. I'll keep reading these as we kind of go along here. Okay, so do you guys see LeBron? His rookie card went for $1.8 million. What are we talking about here? $1.8 million. Most a basketball card has ever sold for. Mason was telling me earlier today, Steve Mason on Crosstalk was saying that card was worth $15,000 4 years ago. $15,000. Valley Village, thank you for tuning in. Highland Park, appreciate you tuning in. Ernie, the Daily Learner, says carne asada with some green sauce. Nothing wrong with that. So LeBron's card goes for $1.8 million. And I was looking at some of the most expensive baseball cards just in general. You got 1909 Honus Wagner sold in 2016 for $3.12 million. And then Mickey Mantle in 2018, it's a 1952 card sold for $2.88 million. I'm not much of a card person. That's not really, my cup of tea. It's not what I do, but I know some people absolutely love it. That's insane to me that cards are still going for 1.8 or something along those lines. All right, we got a few minutes here. Any questions? Any questions you guys got for me? Try and pump a few of these questions out, and then we'll call it a night and get ready for some Lakers basketball coming up this Thursday as they do their first exhibition game. By the way, let me also just say real quick, 3 exhibition games, 8 regular season games. I don't know what we're going to see from those 11 games or so. Like, can't you see a lot of Kyle Kuzma, a lot of Caruso, a lot of Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith? I don't know how much I don't know if we're really going to see, obviously a ton of Lakers. It's going to be more about these guys just getting their legs right, getting their chemistry right, getting their timing right, but I don't think we're going to see too much from there. All right, Aniket says, will the games be televised? They will be televised, so keep that in mind. They'll be on Spectrum. We'll carry the game on Saturday. We will not carry the game on Thursday on 710 ESPN, so just so you know. Aniket wants to talk about Vogel on Kuz dominating so far in practice. That's great. I mean, I listened to that earlier this morning, and that's refreshing to hear, right? You definitely want to hear positive things about Kuz, especially because we're not 100% sure, how Kuz is going to do in his first postseason run, his first playoff run. So the fact that Coach is basically saying he feels damn good about what he's accomplishing and what he's doing, that's positive news for what we got coming up. All right, let's see what else we got here. Alan, what's the deal with Markieff Morris? Nobody really knows, to be honest with you. I don't think his brother has reported yet for the Clippers as well. So both of those players, doesn't look like they've been there or they're not there. And Markieff, I've always said this about Markieff. I think he's a big piece of the Lakers. So I think he could be definitely a player against the Clippers that can go up against Montrezl Harrell. He can help the Lakers if they want to go smaller. If AD doesn't want to guard a banger, you could put Markieff on him. So hopefully Markieff's coming back soon because I think the Lakers can definitely use him. Rob wants to know, who do you think will shine more, Dion or JR? Dion, more potential. JR, I think we know more of what we can expect from him in the playoffs because he's obviously done it before. But Dion, I think, is a little bit more of a wild card. Okay, let me get couple more in here. Lakers Wisdom, will you be interviewing any players? Yeah, we definitely have access to interview players. The only problem is if it's right after the game, I won't because I'll be doing my post-game show. So, but we'll have all that audio, so no matter what. And then the last one, who we got in the first round. I think Lakers play Portland in the first round. Okay, Laker fans, thank you. Appreciate you tuning in. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Alan Sliwa. I got the Sliwa show coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. And, of course, you guys know I'm always going to be talking Lakers basketball. Basketball coming back this Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to get back in the studio and always appreciate your guys' time. So we'll get at you soon. Thank you. Have a good night. Kamenetsky Brothers with their happy hour coming up next.